All right, thank you.
2 in 2 days, great.
All right, good evening and welcome to the April 15th, 2026 Blastow Planning Board meeting. Shay, could you take the roll, please?
Richard Anthony,
Here?
Karen Robinson,
Here.
Dan Kane,
Here.
Rich Leclerc,
Here.
Nolan Pelletier,
Here.
Bill Coy,
Yeah.
Liz Costa,
Here.
and Shay Raymaker here.
Excellent. For purposes of the proceedings tonight, Shay Raymaker, our planning administrator, will be participating.
All here.
The alternate to the ex officio member will be sitting tonight. And we'll just move on. You have minutes from April 1st?
Yeah.
April Fools. All right. And just for the record, I do like how the format of these minutes here, at least where it's thematically bolded out. So,
Yep.
if entertain a motion to accept the minutes if there aren't any changes or anything like that.
Will we accept the minutes?
Right.
April 1st?
A second. I'll second it. Any discussion on it? No, all in favor? Aye. Abstained? All right, so 5-0-0. All right. Public hearings, as you noted, PB 2517, not, are we just continuing that until the next session, Shay?
That's what the applicant has requested.
Okay, all right, and this is this a conceptual,
This is a preliminary design review.
Okay, all right. I think we had discussed some aspects that, that you might want to, if you communicate with the applicant, just so that they're not ambushed, there probably going to be some questions with respect to what their site plan says and what their building is. So, all right. So we'll just move on to the next one. So for purposes of the preliminaries, PB 25-17 will be continued into the next meeting. PB 2605 continued from March 18th, 2026. I'll just read it. The completeness of an application from Albert Couillard for a lot consolidation and a lot line adjustment to eventually create a residential subdivision. The plan proposes a 12 lots residential subdivision of a parcel tax map 66 lot 17002. The subdivision also includes portions of tax map 66 lot 17-000, tax map 66 lot 17-001, and tax map 48 lot 32-003 for a total of 84.42 acres. The application proposes 12 separate residential lots, each supported by its own on-site well and septic, and with a frontage on a new plus or minus 1,800 feet roadway that will access from Hoyt Farm Road. The plan proposed 3 single-family lots, one duplex and 8 triplexes. The plan also proposes drainage and related infrastructure. The property owners of record are Luke's Way, LLC, David M. Hoyt, and Haverhill Golf and Country Club, Inc. All right. Does the applicant want to, and just for the record, just go through who you are and, so that we can just.
Al Couillard, Luke's Way Realty Trust.
Okay.
Philip Christensen, engineer for Al.
All right. Thank you. So we'll just probably start out with just the obvious. We, at least the board looks at this. A lot of the questions as sort of being an engineering drill, and our consultant. There's some complications, and we haven't received any of those analysis from our consultant.
Yep.
So I mean that's where the board is right now. So I figure this, will allow you to, present, answer questions. And if there's anyone in the public that wants to comment, we'll do that. But,
Did anyone have an opportunity to read the letter that I sent late today? I didn't find out today that Steve wasn't going to comment. So I sent the letter on 3 o'clock. Did anyone get a chance to read
yeah,
it?
no, I looked at the letter and I'm sure everyone else saw the letter. But again, I look at it this way, at least my opinion, other people on the board can, express their opinion. I really want to see, sort of the comments and analysis from our engineer.
You will see them.
Yeah. So,
So in that letter, I was pretty clear. I can read it out loud if you want.
yeah, I know if you want, you
If
can
any
do
members
that.
didn't hear it.
We would prefer if you would read it out loud. I did not see it. I'd like to know what it said,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
So it's just a synopsis of why I thought we might be able to get, approval contingent on Stephen Keach's comments, which has happened in the past. And I laid it all out. Let me read it for the people who didn't get it. Let me see if I can pull this off. I'm not a very good public
Why
reader.
don't you just start in the second paragraph? It seems a little personal to,
Oh, I didn't mean it to be.
No, I'm not criticizing.
Oh, okay. It's been a while for all of us. Let me start with a short recap. On February 4th, I submitted a plan and supporting documents to the planning director, Shay Raymaker and Steve Keach, to review Open Meadows Estates on February 16th. Steve sent a limited review discovering that some abutters had not been notified. We missed a couple of abutters. On February 18th, a conceptual discussion with the planning board occurred because we obviously couldn't have a public meeting because we missed the notification. On February 22nd, we held a meeting with, this is a private meeting with Stephen, Phil Christensen, Shay, and myself here in City Hall, where we sat down and reviewed the whole plan. Stephen Keach and myself and Shay and Phil. So Stephen let us know at that time everything that he might have a question with. So we've addressed those questions. Well, let me finish with the letter. Stephen had a list of several items that amounted to a complete review. Stephen's comments arriving from the meeting on February 22nd resulted in Phil Christensen making design changes on the plan. On March 2nd, Phil and Steve communicated on the road realignment design for March 18th planning board meeting. On March 18th, the planning board was continued because Steve was away. We received an email from Steve on March 24th outlining the timeline that he prepared for the April 15th meeting. I was to provide the revised plans by April 1, which I did. Steve was going to prepare his review by April 8th, and the town was going to prepare their comments by April 9th or the 13th. Unfortunately, Steve became ill and wasn't able to prepare responses for tonight's meeting. So one of the bigger issues, one of the issues that Stephen brought up to Phil's attention was Article 7, 235-32C, 2 parentheses. The horizontal alignment, minimum center line radius is 250 feet for a residential minor road. There are also 2 other sections in Article 7 in which Open Meadows Estates is in compliance with the intersections of streets. Minimum intersection angle, which is 75 degrees, and the second one is the minimum radius at edge of travel way in a residential minor street, which is 25 degrees. We comply with both of those. After reviewing the approved recorded plan for Hoyt Farm Road, we noticed a few things. During the approval process for Hoyt Farm Road, a waiver was granted for Article 7, Section 235-32C, design standards. Minimum center line radius should be 250 degrees. Feet, yeah, sorry. Proposed is 200. The waiver was granted, the waiver granted was granted for a radius starting at station 1.75 on Hoyt Farm Road, which is almost a couple hundred feet into the road, through station 4.25. This did not address the intersection at Hoyt Farm Road and Forest Street. The approved subdivision plan shows a center line at Hoyt Farm Road to be a curve of 75-foot radius, starting at Forest Street to proceed along the curve at 66.9 feet, thence to the straight line for the distance of 99 feet, but before entering 200 feet radius curve, which is where the waiver was granted. Obviously, the intersection from 0.0 to 1.75, where Hoyt Farm Road meets Forest Street, was not deemed to be controlled by Article 7, 235-23C design standards, even though, as shown on the approved plan, the center line radius was proposed to be 75 feet. So I'll explain. I'll answer questions at the end. Where Coles Way is proposed to enter Hoyt Farm Road at station 000, it proceeds on a straight line to station 039 and then into a curve with a radius of 37 feet to station 0.82, and then a straight line for 101 foot length before entering a 200-foot radius curve. Both Hoyt Farm Road and proposed Coles Way have within the first 100 feet a curve with less than 250 feet radius. The curve in Coles Way is further mitigated by the straight section of roadway before entering Hoyt Farm Road at between station 00 and station 1.75. Because of the similar nature of the intersections designs and the lack of waiver requested or granted for the first 100 feet of Hoyt Farm Road, I would think that I think it would be appropriate to redact my waiver request under Article 7, 235.32C. I think there are two answers to the matter. If you believe that Coles Way at the intersection of Hoyt Farm Road requires a waiver of Article 7, 235-32C, horizontal alignment, minimum center line radius, residential minor street, 250 feet, you could grant the waiver, keeping in mind that Coles Way completes two of the sections of Article 7. Coles Way has a 25-foot minimum radius at edge of travel way where it intersects with Hoyt Farm Road at an angle greater than 75 degrees. Additionally, Coles Way at the intersection of Coles Way and Hoyt Farm Road has pavement width of 31 feet. That's a design on the plan, which is designed to ease congestion and promote safety and has no public safety issues related to this intersection. Or you could, if so inclined, you could determine that the intersection of Hoyt Farm Road and Forest Street has set a precedent and that the intersection of Coles Way and Hoyt Farm Road are almost identical from station 00 to station 200. And a waiver from Article 7, 325-32C is not required. In further support of granting a conditional approval this evening, continuing engineering issues could be resolved between peer review and design engineer during a period of time where I'll be applying for NHDES approval and AOT approval, as was the case in the approval process for Luke's Way, Newton Road 108. Recently, which in all probability will be 3 to 4 months. I reference the engineering because AOT is the governing body for drainage and stormwater. This would allow ample time for peer review to coordinate with design engineer Phil Christensen prior to the plan being approved. So what I'm saying is that the biggest issue was the entrance the last time we were here of Coles Way to Hoyt Farm Road. Since then, Phil has talked about that with Steve and realigned the road, made adjustments to the plan, and you have a copy of that plan in front of you. So I think if we solve that issue, I'm not sure I'm be hoping that you guys could consider conditional approval tonight, because other than that one issue, everything else is just engineering that Phil will take care of with Steve, like he's done in the past on other projects. So I guess I'll take in some questions.
All right. I'm just just my thoughts on it. I'm going to I mean, I really would like to have seen some sort of feedback from our consultant. But at the same time, I don't want to inconvenience what you're doing. It's not your fault in terms of, circumstances happen and such.
Well, I understand you guys are in a bind and you want to hear from your peer review guy.
Yeah,
I get that. So
but let's say
you guys by yourselves can take the biggest question off the board,
right.
just from the information that you have here. That obviously the 100 feet from Hoyt Farm Road, from Forest Street into Hoyt Farm Road, that's a turn, and that doesn't fall under the section that we're talking about, 7325-35. It didn't fall under it 6 years ago when you approved that road.
Right. I mean, let's let me ask a question. We're assuming that that's the only thing that we would get back from our engineering consultant.
We're not.
Right?
No, we sat with Steve right
Yeah.
here. We got all the questions he had.
Did you get to see his review letter? No?
Right. No.
We've got nothing.
We have the one from February
Back
16th or 18th.
Yeah, he stopped reviewing when the.
That's the only thing we have.
Right. And
So-
but he concentrated on, which was important, was the proper notations and the format in the sheets that would be filed in the registry. That was his big concern there.
And
Then that road alignment was the other concern he had.
I don't
I have other
dispute
questions.
anything you folks are saying. You met with them and stuff. But here is our job simple. We have a process. We have consultants. This is an engineering exercise. And right now, I'm sitting here as a board member without the report from my engineer. And I'm not prepared to issue conditional approval, despite the fact I don't have any real problems with the project, is I want to see that engineering report. The only way I get in trouble is if I do something that ignores our process. That's the only way.
Well, I think.
And I don't want to take that risk.
I think my answer to that would be, this has happened before. You're not ignoring the process.
It hasn't happened
lots of
to me
conditional approval.
before.
Right.
You voted for
Doesn't
Luke's
happen to me
way.
either.
What's that? Yeah, but
On
we
conditional
already
approval.
had Steve's comments. You're comparing an apple to a banana. We already had Steve's comments. We knew the context. We don't have any right now. So yes, I approve Luke's way because at least I knew what I was approving.
Right.
Let me just
We
ask.
know-
Go ahead.
Have you communicated with Steve's office as to who's going to pick up the review at this point and when you'll get a report back?
I think that's what we were discussing prior to the
We
meeting.
wanted Steve here tonight. I mean,
Yeah, I initially wanted to have our consultant here because specifically, at least, other people on the board might have
I have other
questions, but
Correct.
I wanted
what
at
are
least, I wanted to have our consultant here to speak to some of the concerns that we heard, from abutters. I mean, specifically, I know you presented something that's, looks like a traffic analysis and something like that. One of my questions I want our consultant to answer is that sufficient? All right. And if he said that, yeah, it's a fantastic traffic analysis and, you can rely on it. If it isn't, and he says that, then, you might be in a situation where we might be requiring you to do a traffic study.
I can understand. My question is, though, has anything been done to find out if you'll have comments for the next meeting since Steve is ill?
Well, I think that's the imperative. I mean, we put it to staff and, we want to know, who's backing him up, if his backup is going to be able to provide that type of analysis.
And what if he's not?
Well, I'd want to know that within, I figure what, a day or so. I mean, that's something that someone can answer, like saying that yes or no, we can be prepared for another event. I mean, I think that's reasonable to expect that.
Yep. I was in touch with Jason Lopez, who has been taking on a lot of Steve Keach's workload in the meantime. But given just the timeline of how things happen, he did not have enough time to provide full comments and take on the depth of this full proposal from Steve Keach in order to provide comments for this hearing. I did not get a specific timeline from them, but I can certainly follow up with the engineer after this hearing and make sure that we get comments back.
And today's Wednesday. I mean, I think 24 hours is fair enough to have somebody speak to that and provide that information to you, right? At least, saying that they'll be able to commit to a certain.
For me, if you want to continue tonight, I would expect that there'd be enough information at the next meeting so you folks can make a decision. So I don't want the comments from Keach's office to come in the night of the meeting. I need them before, and I think you should demand that from them.
No, it's fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
that's
yeah.
fair enough. I think
We
I think
agree.
we agree with you as an applicant. I think that's something that you are entitled to. I mean, this is sort of an extraordinary situation,
Yeah.
and we'll have more information for you. I think within. I would like to say is ideally tomorrow, or best time after that,
This week.
right?
Can I ask you one question? Did you get comments in writing from Steve
Yes.
beyond what his the initial?
I got emails back and forth
Okay.
from him, but, right.
Yeah, and again, like I said, our intent was to have our consultant here because I wanted, if there were abutters, I wanted them to have the opportunity to, speak directly, to that,
Well-
to their concerns. Because I know what you're saying with
know what they're
respect to
gonna
these.
say?
I know what you're saying with these waivers and things like that. And I know that the entrance and stuff like that is pre-existing.
I mean, the issue is, and I put it on the board here, there was no waiver granted for that entrance. Okay, the waiver was granted for this section here, down to a 200-foot rather than a 250-foot center line. But this radius up front, this curve right here you did not grant a waiver for that. And that's our question, that we have the same situation. Is that the kind of thing you would grant a waiver on or consider it not to be the same requirement as a 250-foot radius on the long curve?
Again, I mean, I would say that I'd want our engineering consultant to speak
Right.
directly to that.
Right.
I mean, is it a question that, the waiver was granted? Is it something that would require a
It
waiver?
wasn't requested and it wasn't granted.
Yeah. And did someone just miss it?
Yep.
I don't know.
I know who
I
reviewed
wasn't
it.
here.
Neither was I, so.
I know who reviewed it, Dan.
But anyway, that's a big issue for us is that configuration. So we have a similar configuration.
Well,
Okay,
Right.
so,
we didn't think it was an issue because, we pulled up this plan to help design our plan. That's what you do. You look at what was approved recently.
no,
I met with Stephen. I gave him a rough sketch of how I could change the plan, and he thought that was in the right direction. So then I finalized the plan that way.
I mean, like I said, ideally, let's say Mr. Keach came back and said that, hey, I've determined that we need to kind of redesign that or do something, you're going to be amenable to that, correct? I mean, in terms of at least, talking about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Absolutely.
so, I mean,
And that would be part of a conditional approval.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let those guys talk over the next few months and fix it. We'll do whatever.
We're gonna, the process works like that. You've already been through it, But without anything for us to look in front of, I'm just not,
yeah, it almost feels like it'd be like,
yeah.
we're not doing our fiduciary duty if we don't have that information in front of us.
And again, I don't have like any real general problems that I don't see are solvable for this project. It's just, I don't like operating in the dark.
I get it. I don't like it either. We're all in the same boat. I thought maybe if I provided enough information, I could,
So just so you can see, that's our change in the intersection to be similar to Hoyt Farm Road.
I mean, flip it over and it's like identical.
I'm completely sympathetic to your position. It's just that I think I need to have
I know.
that
you said it.
information.
It's fine.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
grant the extension. Let's let you guys get
I
stuff.
appreciate it. And like I said, we'll reach out to you as soon as possible when we have, better understanding what, the situation is and then how that fits into the timeline for you. All right.
There were comments from the highway surveyor, and as I recall, the only engineering comments were he didn't like the manholes in the middle of the street. He wanted the drainage manholes out of the pavement. So that's
Okay.
So we
I
did
think
that.
there's only 2 manholes that are in the street, so that's an easy enough change to make, so.
Yeah, we didn't get any, I don't think, Shay, did we get anything back from fire department?
The fire department didn't have any.
No comments, no issues? And Dan had a couple questions and then really that's why the main thing is that radius, which I think.
Again,
I know, I'm not trying to,
Okay.
I'm not trying to get into it anymore.
Okay.
I know I'm done, but
right. But like I said, is there anyone from the public that's for this particular application?
Can I
Yes.
ask a
No?
question, Mr. Chair?
What's that?
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
I can't. Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Yes, you can.
First of all, I want to say I also work construction, so I'm sympathetic, but I am going to echo Dan. I work construction, but I'm not an engineer. So without the proper material and information, I would not want to make a determination on that. But my question is, and it's probably more posed to Shay, is that the police raise concerns, but it's really vague. Can they really, can they dial that in?
I think it's a typo.
Oh, you think it's a typo?
I think he meant to say no. Yeah.
I think so as well. There was no follow-up from the police chief on that. And when I had sent the original plans, they didn't have any concerns. So
Okay.
I think it's just a typo.
If you read it in context, it's kind of,
Well, it sounded like, oh, I have concerns, and then
Yeah, I think
nothing
it was
else.
a typo.
So if can we confirm that's a typo? We're just assuming it's a typo?
I could reach out to them again,
Okay.
to the police chief.
because if he had concerns, it's very inartful the way.
Well, yeah,
I
that's-
read it as a typo. But
Well, I never know at this town, so.
Out of it between highway and fire.
All right.
So where do we want, those one?
Well, I think this one individual.
submitted my information already, so you,
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was going to get sent it in ahead of time.
Do you want to speak to those concerns? Just
I
for the,
can, I don't have the information in front of me, and I don't know if we need to read or, I don't know.
whatever you're comfortable with. It's it's a public hearing, so if you want,
There's no decisions, right?
All right. Okay. Do you want to? I have the letter here. If you want, I think this is yours, right?
Anastasia?
Yes. Do you want? If you want to have that, look at it, you can. Right. And just for the record, just your name and your address, and I'm just coming at from the perspective that if there's something that sort of resonates with sort of an engineering consultant, concern, then
Yeah.
just for the record.
I am not an engineer, so. All right. Dear members of the planning board, my name is Anastasia Sheehan, and I reside at Hoyt Farm Road with my husband Brian and our 2 children. I respectfully request this comment be included in the record. I am writing regarding the proposed open meadow estate development off Hoyt Farm Road. After reviewing the traffic-related materials submitted, it appears that the document provided is a limited review of driveway and intersection geometry rather than a comprehensive traffic impact study. While the analysis demonstrates that vehicles, including emergency vehicles, can physically access the site, it explicitly states that key elements such as sight distance, horizontal curvature, and intersection operations were not evaluated. These are fundamental components of roadway safety and traffic impact. The memo also indicates that these elements were, in quotes, previously analyzed by others, end quote. However, that analysis has not been included or summarized in the submission. Without that information, it is unclear whether those evaluations reflect current conditions or the increased traffic associated with this development. Additionally, the conclusion that traffic volumes will be low appears to be based on general assumptions rather than a comprehensive analysis of actual conditions, including daily traffic patterns, construction activity, delivery vehicles, and neighborhood use. Hoyt Farm Road feeds directly into Forest Street, which has been identified by the town as a primary carrier road within this area. Forest Street has experienced serious traffic incidents, including a crash involving severe injuries requiring medical airlift and a separate head-on collision. Reports have also noted recurring concerns related to roadway curves in this area. This corridor connects to Main Street and East and West Pine Street approximately 1 to 2 miles away, where the town has also experienced a serious multi-vehicle crash in 2025 involving multiple injuries. These are not remote or unrelated locations, but part of the same local roadway network that this development would contribute traffic to. Given these existing conditions and the nature of Hoyt Farm Road as a low-volume residential street serving a small number of homes, including families with children and elderly residents, it is important to consider whether assumptions and partial analysis are sufficient when evaluating roadway safety and long-term impacts to the community. As presented, the submission does not appear to address whether Hoyt Farm Road and the surrounding road network are appropriate to accommodate the traffic generated by this development. Approving access based on incomplete analysis creates unnecessary risk when more thorough evaluation is readily achievable. Given these gaps, I respectfully request that the board require either a full traffic impact study or an independent peer review of the traffic analysis to properly evaluate roadway safety, capacity, and neighborhood impacts prior to moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take that.
I'd like a copy of that.
All right, it should be in your folder. All right, so this kind of goes to my point that I just like our engineer to just sort of speak to these issues and the study that you put forward.
That was my,
Go on.
sorry.
Go on.
That was my question. I thought we were going to do a traffic study on that road because it is true. There have been bad accidents on it, just in general. So I didn't know why.
Yeah, the applicant put together a traffic study analysis. All right, and
Traffic study done.
I guess a traffic study analysis, not necessarily.
Analysis, they don't do traffic studies for 30 units
Yeah.
or less.
So I guess my question is, I just want our consultant to say that it meets all the requirements to be sufficiently relied upon. Is there anyone else from the public, though?
I don't know what those requirements would be.
Like I said,
There's nothing in the regs that say anything about that.
no. But if we're
Of our traffic
No.
study? Do you, Dan?
What's that?
Are
Requirements?
there
of traffic
requirements for a
No,
traffic?
they're not, but you know as well as I do, traffic gets into the health, welfare, safety, general kind of, I think the issue here is, well, you can look at the ITEE studies and you can figure out in general this is going to look like. And it's overall small in terms of peak traffic. And that there's science behind that, obviously.
Yeah.
To me, the issue here is just relativity. And I mentioned this at the last, is you've got 2 to 3 times the traffic that's going to come out to Hoyt Road, onto Hoyt Road and ultimately onto Forest Street than you have right now. And so there's some impact. What that is, if there's any even real science to it, I don't know, because it would require a full-blown traffic study. And I'm sympathetic because I don't know too many firms that would actually do it.
I think, there's an intersection analysis where the proposed road goes into Hoyt Farm Road.
Yeah.
That's not unreasonable to request that we do a full traffic study of Forest Street, I think goes beyond the scope
yeah,
of the
we're going
project.
Yeah,
Hoyt Farm Road.
I would agree with that on Forest Street. That's not, but to figure out what's kind of
That
there,
intersection analysis
Yeah.
is, yeah, that's reasonable.
yeah. I think that would be,
Well, we'll wait and see what Keith says. I mean, if I have to do it, I have to do it.
and he's going to come back too. So I agree. Let's see what, maybe he can provide some insight that
Well-
addresses.
Did you guys know, just for the record, that Phil Christensen is peer review engineer for Newburyport and where else?
Newbury.
He does Stevens' job. So, I mean, 55 years of engineering experience here, so
No, yeah,
we're pretty
we're
sure.
not doubting that then, so that
doubting
the
that.
analysis would be something like, this is something the board can rely on. That's, pretty
He's
much what
got a
I'm looking
stamp.
at.
He says that we meet it.
I know. I know.
No,
I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just
No,
trying
it's
to find
fine,
something out.
No, and again, our experience with Luke's Way was, we had a fairly straightforward, evaluation and approval process, we have a duty to assist, you, and we're trying to assist you here.
I'm going to assist.
Maybe it doesn't appear to be assistance, but we are trying to assist you here.
Well-
And that's our responsibility, no different than it is to protect the health, welfare, and safety of the people.
I don't like it, but I understand it. Let's continue this thing. Let's not waste any more of our time. And
So,
let's hope
Shay,
Stephen gets well by next week and we get some answers.
continue, what's the date we're going to continue this to?
May 20th is the next public hearing date.
Okay, so PB 2605 will continue to May 20th. For the public and anyone watching, that'll constitute any notice that you're going to get on it. So,
Is,
Are we
Can I-
within a time limit? Do we need Al to give you anything in writing?
I think are we within the 60?
Yeah, I believe the 65-day clock ends on May 22nd. So we're right within that 65-day clock.
so
Can we do it in the
that
workshop?
generates another question
Considering
for me, Richard. If Keach, I hope he's better, and I hope Monday somebody over there is up and running, and they say they're going to get something to us shortly. Is there a way to have a meeting before the 20th? Is there like if Keach says, yeah, I'm going to be ready by the 10th or the 5th, or if he
So
works
that'll be
something
the
out with Shane where
workshop
it's
meeting,
earlier.
Yeah.
possible for
Meeting,
the board?
workshop.
I mean, just in terms of, well,
I mean, I missed a vacation and now
I
a sick
understand.
guy, so I'm
Let's at least commit to finding out information with respect to our consultant. And if it looks like,
I would be okay, just me.
Schedule it for the workshop.
Yeah, if we could.
And then
yeah.
if it has to be continued from there, then it is, but
Yeah,
we at least
because-
have to notice everyone right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's the issue, is the time.
So you have to notice it, so.
Right.
all right, well, so we can just provisionally schedule it for our workshop.
okay.
And then, we'll have more information.
What's the date of the workshop?
workshop is going to be May 6th.
May 6th.
Is that better?
That would be better.
Right.
I don't know if Dan knows or the board knows, I spent 12 months at AOT on Luke's Way. 12 months. And now to even apply for AOT, like one of the reasons I'm pushing so hard for this conditional approval is I don't want to apply for AOT yet because it's like $25,000.
Okay.
And DHEES is, I don't know, 10 or 12. So we're talking about tens and tens of thousands of dollars
right.
for me to take the next step. And both those people are going to take a long time. And so I'm just trying
All
to
right, so,
giving you a little bit of reasoning of why I'm being a little bit of a pain in the neck.
no, that's fine.
No, you don't have to justify. I get it.
All right, so we'll continue it to May 6th, our workshop, and we'll commit to finding out
Yeah,
where our consultant is and,
Right.
Shay will know.
Yeah.
If she thinks it's going to work,
okay. All right,
Thank you.
because we'll respond
all right, cool beans.
quickly.
Thank you for understanding.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for your time, guys. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All right. So, take a quick second to reorient. Okay. Next on the agenda, PB 2609, the completeness of an application from Haverhill Golf and Country Club, Inc. for review of a site plan that proposes a new irrigation pond. The property is located at 93 Forest Street, tax map 66, lot 17 in the LDR zoning district. The applicant is the property owner of record. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing. All right. All right, do I have,
You just need the application acceptance, right?
yep.
I move to accept the application for new site plan as noted in the legal notice PB number 26-09 for the property located at 93 Forest Street, tax map 66, lot 17 in the LDR zoning district is complete.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on completeness? All right, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So 500. All right. Just your name and, for the record, so that.
Yep. Andrew Peroni from Verdantis, representing the Haverhill Country Club. I don't know. I think some of you folks may remember we came here a couple months ago for a design review process, and you took some of your comments back and made some changes to our plan. But overall, the spirit of everything we're trying to do is the exact same as what was here before. So I'll just go through our sheets and kind of just take it from there. Our first sheet, this was actually a request by Shay and staff in general, was to provide a more higher level overview of where this was located overall on the property. As we said at the previous hearing, it's essentially dead center of where we're proposing the work. And from a contour standpoint, it's right almost at the base of a bowl area, perfect place to put a pond. So it kind of just made sense. That's where we picked it. This next sheet, again, is the existing conditions plan that we had shown before. Just a couple things to note. We did identify some wetlands on site with our wetland scientists back in the end of the summer, early September, I forget the exact date. Right here along the fairway of Holway 2, over here there is a brook for wetlands. There are NWI or National Wetlands Inventory mapped wetlands as well, kind of more towards the south of this map area here. This kind of solid black line here is the Aquifer Protection District, as well as the grayed out dashed line here is the 100-year floodplain. It's more associated with the brook than the wetlands at the south of the sheet. Just so you had a good understanding of what we were going to be working with on the site, as well as we did some test pits to kind of get a good understanding of the soils within the area, where depth to seasonal groundwater was. At the time, we found it about elevation 94 feet fairly consistently. And this was also during a drought of all droughts, essentially. So we found it at a decent spot at the low point of this bowl. So this is our proposed pond. Again, not too much different than what it was. We did increase the size. Right now, we're showing just shy of a 3.7 million gallon pond. The slopes, we're looking at right now at a 3-to-1 slope, just to kind of make sure we protect the pond and the bowl shape as well. The red line, we show a limit of disturbance kind of going around the construction area. We show the limit of disturbance outside of the erosion control fencing just to account for that, even though there won't be any necessary impacts in the fencing. We're just putting that as part of our calculations. Mind you, this is going to, for AOT application, we have our application actually submitted to the state as well as wetlands too. So we've already submitted all that. So that is, part of, I know it's going to be a condition of approval. We have already taken those steps to keep things moving. The pond, the intent would be naturally fed from the groundwater, as well as some potential sheet flow from the course coming in. We do provide some overflow protection with some rocks as a point of weir point. So if there was, for some reason, some biblical flow, it could relieve itself. But we're projecting the pond elevation to be somewhat lower than the actual crest of the pond sides. So there's quite a bit of buffer area before any sort of incident could potentially occur. Our work, we are just up to the line, but we are, our intent is to stay outside of the Aquifer Protection District as well as the 100-year floodplain. So we would need to trigger any sort of zoning variance or anything like that. The only point that would cross would just be this water line. The idea is to take water from this pond during low flow season over here. This is the original pond for the course that is used for irrigation. We'd pump water over to help them put it back into the irrigation system. This is the only section that needs a wetlands permit with the DES. As I said, we've already submitted the application for that as well. No change of use is proposed as part of this plan. No change of impervious, no lights, no change of hours of operation. I should say the only impervious is we're building a shed for the pump system. That's it. But so there's no real changes to anything happening to the site aside from we're building a hole in the ground to pull water from. That's.
Can I ask, what's the size of the shed? It's small, right?
I think we said 10 by 12. It'd be a standard shed you get.
Okay.
You know, it's not going to be a massive facility. As part of the project, there is some reworking of some of the greens of it, but again, that's part of some of the process. So that's essentially the overall project. Again, we're not really changing any of the use, operations, impervious. We're not adding lights, hours, anything like that. It's just a second irrigation point for the course. The next few sheets show standard details, site stabilization, and such. Again, and these really will come into play also more for the AOT. You know, as we've had preliminary talks with them, they're more concerned is just the construction notes because this doesn't even really, because of the size of the impact, it requires an AOT, but doesn't even, since we're not changing impervious, it's not really going to impact, kind of trigger any of their concerns. It's more just they will make sure we have good notes to protect, you know, the areas around it. So that's essentially it. I guess I'll open the floor for questions.
Anyone on the board have any questions? I mean,
I also sit on the Conservation Commission. Did you guys send this to the Conservation Commission? Because typically that's part of the process, as it was relayed to me.
well, with respect to AOT, correct?
It's that, right?
Yeah.
AOT, I believe so. I'll double check, but I believe there was.
Correspondence to that,
that
okay.
is part of the process for AOT.
Yep.
Yes, so I believe that was. I will double check. It just went out last week, so
Okay.
I will get back to you.
Well, if it wasn't, just.
Yeah. If it wasn't, it needs to be done, but I'll get back to
And-
you. Yeah.
Obviously, there's been no engineering review on this, right, Jay?
Correct. There was no escrow account established, so it was not sent to engineering.
Okay. Should there be an engineering?
That's up to the board.
Right.
I believe it.
You know that, but. Yeah, I don't,
I don't know what you really.
I'm asking the question whether, right, is,
No.
yeah, I would think no. but-
I agree. I don't
No, it sounds like AOT is, you
Yeah,
know,
and
most of your
AOT is-
interactions can be with
Right.
them.
Right.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of correspondence that should go to the Conservation Commission and or the Planning Board,
It should go.
is it AOT or is it just construction or something that's happening within a wetland buffer of some kind?
Yeah, if the wetlands are being impacted, then it has to be, and there's a conditional use permit that's submitted, then it definitely has to be routed to the Conservation Commission as well.
Okay. All right.
And I confirmed with the applicant that it was not touching the wetlands.
All right. So that wouldn't have triggered any type of notice to Conservation Commission.
I think other than just the general AOT.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that, with respect to this particular application, that wants to comment? All right. Do we want to, I mean, you have a number of waivers, that 20 waiver requests.
Just a few.
I assume you were just sort of generically hitting
Yeah,
everything that you could ask a waiver for.
we have no fire protection as part of our application, so it was a waiver.
Most of those, if they're NA, you don't need a waiver from it.
So my understanding, because actually I did talk to Shay about this, and that was initially my thought, but in our office, we have he calls himself a recovering town planner. And by statute, I think technically it is a waiver. So we left it as a waiver, just because technically I think it's supposed to be. The board could vote for all of them all at once or vote for them individually, is my understanding. But from a statute standpoint, I was suggested to, after talking to Shay, to leave it, in fact, as a waiver.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
see how we could waive something that's not required.
Right.
The other thing that, just to note on this, is there's no existing site plan for this property at all as
Right.
well.
Okay.
Yep.
What is that? What are ramifications to that? To say that there's no existing site plan?
Just that this site plan will be the site plan that's on record for this property. And so the board can definitely waive some of these things, but we won't have any record in the town of the existing structures that are on the property, things like that.
Okay.
But I think most of the existing structures are technically in Haverhill.
In Haverhill,
Yeah, I
correct.
don't think they're technically in Plastow.
Wouldn't be in Plastow, right?
All right. Do you want to just go down? Do we want to just go through the waivers and if they're non-applicable,
Yep.
indicate that they're non-applicable, right?
At that point, by the time you already read them, we're already
Yeah,
there.
right. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe like I said, Shay, which ones are we're saying that? I don't want to spend a massive amount of time on something that's non-applicable.
I bring the board's attention to waiver request 8, which is just showing the area of project disturbance. Although the applicant stated that this is all going to be handled through AOT, it is relevant to the project, so it may be one that the board wants to vote on specifically. Another one, just waiver request 12. I think that's a really simple thing to add to the plan. That's just noting the zoning district of the
Zoning
property. And it's as simple as just adding one note on the plan that says this is all within the LDR zoning district. Waiver request 16, I think, is the big one. This is about boundary lines, including angles or bearings of the lines and dimensions on the survey plan. I spoke with the Rockingham Registry of Deeds, who did confirm to me that the full property boundary would have to be on the plan. And after reading through RSA 478 :1-A recording of plats, it defines a plat as a map of specific land area whose boundaries are defined by meets and bounds. So even if the board waives this, this may be something that the registry requires in order to get the plan recorded.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
And then just wanted to note waiver request 18 that's on here. Just a copy and paste error on here. This one should be for section 230-14.1.YY, which is about having the architectural renderings and elevations of a building on the plan, not the boundary lines and angles.
Oh, okay.
And so that one would be not applicable for this property.
So non-applicable.
Yep.
So, yeah, not, okay.
And then the last one I'd bring your attention to is just the submittal of a drainage plan. The board can decide whether a drainage plan needs to be submitted for this project.
What was the item on the zoning district? You and I did talk about, I think we just kind of,
Zoning, that was back here.
I want to, that could either be a waiver or condition of approval that we submit a plan that shows it on there. I think that's a simple edit. So we're happy either way.
Okay. All right, so by way of summary, we're saying that 1 through 7, are we saying that are non-applicable, that we're not looking to?
Yeah, it wasn't listed.
Okay,
We should probably say that out loud so it's on the record.
yeah.
Just so it's on the record.
Then we're looking for number 8, 12, 16, and 18. All right.
When I look at 8, it says you're going to provide a disturbance plan, so what are we waiving?
Right.
Can you read I don't have it in front of me. Can you read it again? I apologize.
I can read it. It says the applicant has submitted a waiver request for Article 1, Section 230-14.1.q for a temporary waiver from having a separate sheet showing the area of project disturbance. The applicant is requesting a temporary waiver and stated they will provide a complete disturbance plan to the board in the final design. I don't think we grant like temporary waivers. I mean, you're going to provide it,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
I guess we interpret that as like a whole separate sheet of just the disturbance. I guess we do have that on sheet 1 of the project area.
Yeah, like typically we don't waive something and then you turn around and provide,
Right.
have to provide it later. I mean, there's no point.
I did add that one as noted in the staff report as a condition of approval, but I just wanted to bring the board's attention.
Yeah, no,
Right,
that's,
Right,
but
good.
yeah, we just make that as a condition of approval.
Right.
All right.
Then the next one is what, 12?
12.
That's simple, just put it on, just note it on the plan.
Yeah. What's that, Dan?
Just note it on the plan, you solve that. This is the,
Boundaries, zoning boundaries.
no, just identify the zoning district,
Oh, okay.
So we're not looking,
You don't need to
you
waive.
don't need a waiver, we're just saying
Yeah,
that,
Right.
and we don't need to elevate that to a condition of approval, do we?
no,
It's just
no.
that you're gonna just note,
Yeah,
you're just
we'll
gonna
put it on.
identify those.
Just put a no.
All right,
And then what's the next one?
16,
16?
yeah.
I think,
it's the same.
Same difference.
I don't think you can waive this one.
No,
Well, I mean, is that, we're saying that, that Rockingham Registry of Deeds
registry
might
of
come
deeds may
back
require.
and require it, regardless of what we're,
I can tell you from experience, they'll make you do it. So, might as well do it.
I guess, I talked about this a little bit with Shay, I think there was a former boundary survey done of the overall lot. I guess nothing was recorded from a site plan standpoint, but there is something recorded, I believe, with the registry. So I guess the questions are, you want us to record the construction plan of this pond with it? Because my understanding with the registry is that it'd actually be the town telling them if you want something recorded.
I guess if you could dig up what's been recorded, then at least perhaps
There's
we can.
something there.
There's something there.
Yeah,
We could
okay.
at least.
If this was like a strip mall or something, like where there's going to be actual infrastructure being built,
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. But this is a pond. Like if we can
Right.
at least show that something was recorded, then at least hopefully address that.
Okay, so how would we, what are we looking to satisfy here, I guess?
Well,
I mean,
if this plan will be recorded.
right.
Okay, if there's no boundary survey to it, then the registry of deeds is going to make them do one.
Okay,
So I'm saying is, you already have to do it, why are we gonna waive it?
Registry of Deeds. Right.
And the applicant's saying that he believes there is one.
all right, so you don't need a waiver then, what we're saying.
I guess, yeah. I
Yeah.
was trying to see if we could maybe, if we need to record this construction plan, but if we need to, then we'll do it.
Well, I think you have to, because we don't have a site plan.
Right.
Well, what are we left with right here?
Don't we have a zoning ordinance that tells us we need to?
Yeah.
Yeah, properties without site plans, we need to have site plans. Yeah.
That's correct.
So did we just, I don't think there was anything left. It's just, we're left with just
18.
number 8, which is a condition of approval then. All right.
Did we say 18?
Yeah, we said 18.
So 18 just
I had
has
those.
a copy and paste error.
Okay.
Oh, so
18
we
is irrelevant. The
Yeah.
other one that I just pointed out was just the drainage plan, which is number 20.
Oh, yep.
All right, number 20.
So I
Okay,
think we
this is
can
part of the
just
pump house.
we can just add finding the existing boundary survey as part of the conditional approval.
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, so we're not doing 20?
What's 20?
20 was on that shed.
It's the drainage, that's the
Yeah.
drainage.
Yeah.
part of the drainage.
They're gonna get that from, we've already set that, right, from DES?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's
nothing.
nothing that we're going to be waiving then.
No, and
Not really. No.
I don't think so. Given the low impact of what they're doing, where it is, I would say
Can't
we
be
don't
anything wrong with that.
No what?
don't need one, don't need a full
No.
drainage.
So you wanted to grant the waiver then?
Yes, that one I
Yes.
would.
All right.
Yep, that one we should.
All right, so it looks like 20 is the only waiver, and
And then.
number 8 is going to be a condition of approval,
Right.
right? Okay.
So is,
And so was the other one, 12? No, 12 was nothing. Neither
so
was
is 16, right?
16.
Right, but that's the one with the caveat saying that the registry might,
The registry has
No,
to.
but that's the conditional approval
right,
is
so
that
condition of
Part of it,
approval.
conditional
they can-
approval.
if they produce the existing one, we're approving it conditionally that they will produce.
They will get one.
The existing.
Right. And you said 8 was a
So
condition
out
of
of 20
approval
waiver
too, right?
requests, you got one.
Again, I was told from our former planner to. listen,
Better to be
maybe-
safe than sorry. so,
Exactly. I'll let you
yeah.
guys tell
Yeah.
me what's not applicable.
So number 16, we're describing, as being a boundary survey is what would be a condition of approval.
Yeah, produce.
Yeah.
Yeah, produce.
Show the site plan instead of, right? Registry of Deeds?
All right. What does the draft motion look like?
Just have to add a couple
Yeah.
approvals, that's it, conditional approvals to it, that's it.
All right, so provide a complete disturbance plan to the board and the final design, is that it? All right.
It's the draft motion, right?
So, okay. I move to approve the application. Is there any other comment from the board? Shay?
I think, was the board gonna move on the waiver request number 20?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, we
true.
should do that first.
Yep, okay.
Yeah,
All right, so I move to grant the request to waive drainage plan submittal. All right,
I'll second.
all right. And any discussion? No. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, so 500. All right.
yeah, that's what we had to do.
Anything else before we move on to the,
No, I think,
I move to approve the application for a new site plan as noted in the legal notice PB 2609 for the property located at 93 Forest Street, tax map 66, lot 17 in the LDR zoning district with the following conditions. All applicable professional stamps shall be affixed to the final plan for recording. A complete disturbance plan is submitted with the final plan, okay? Architectural renderings / elevations of pump house structure shall be submitted with the final plan. Receipt of New Hampshire DES alteration of terrain permit and permit number and approval date noted on the plan. All conditions of approval shall be met and the final plans for recording submitted to the planning department within 45 days of receipt of the last state permit. And we're looking to add
The boundary one, right? 16.
16, right?
yeah, so produce a boundary survey. How do we want to phrase that? Applicants, produce a boundary survey. Provided what? Shay, what is that?
Site plan.
To be
right?
recorded at the registry of deeds with the site plan.
Site plan, right.
So provide a boundary survey to be recorded at the registry of deeds with the site plan.
Site plan, yep.
Is it something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just have one question on the
Yes.
architectural renderings for the shed. I don't think we'll get an actual licensed architect to give renderings. I mean, again, this is the way I see it, something you would get like from the side of like Home Depot or something. If we got kind of standard specs and put it onto our plan set, would that be sufficient? Or are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I would think so.
That's just to be like, well, I don't think we're going to engage an architect.
Well, in
Design
New Hampshire, you don't need anything less than 200 square feet. You don't even need a building permit. So
Right.
Right.
So,
Do we need to note that, or is it just?
So we're most likely not even doing a structure at all. Looks like we're doing a sled pump right into the pond itself.
Oh,
There may not even be a
okay.
structure at all. And
okay.
if there is, it's no more than 4 feet by 5 feet, enough for a small pump.
Yeah, just for a
We're
bump.
looking at submerging the pump into the pond or there wouldn't, and around the line.
Okay.
Be doing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Solved. If there's a pump house.
Yeah.
It's nice when it happens that quick.
yeah, I mean, you could put the phrase, a simple drawing will be sufficient.
Right. If
there's a
Yep, site plan.
That's fine. I just didn't want you guys to expect an architect to design this. That's,
Okay. Shay, this is the second one on here, a complete disturbance plan is submitted with the final plan. That's basically the requirement on number 8, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay, so we got everything then, just that we're, all right. I made the motion, do we have a second?
Second?
All right, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Anything else?
that's it. Thanks so
Excellent.
much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Jeez.
Okay.
All right. Let's take a second to get reoriented. Here's my,
Where's the one, May 6th, to discuss our project in conceptual manner? What's that one?
oh, here we are. Jeez, sorry. All right, next on the agenda, conceptual consultation not coming in. All right, so conceptual consultation for Ellen Cupola Smith, 152 Plastow Road, tax map 29, lot 24. Did they indicate that they were not coming in, or are they just going to be pushed to the next meeting?
What I received in writing from the applicant was submitted.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's done.
Since it is a conceptual, there's no need to formally continue it if the applicant doesn't.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, did they intend to come in at a later date? Did they say, or
They just stated that they wouldn't be able to attend tonight's meeting.
Okay. So we'll await their pleasure.
To be determined.
All right, next, conceptual consultation with Jeremy Hill, 18 Elm Street, tax map 41, lot 68.
See?
Yes.
Didn't see him.
Come on down.
See him.
And just for the record, your name and your address, and then.
My name is Jeremy Hill, owner at 18 Elm Street, Plastow, also known as Linden Cottage. When Liz and I acquired the property in early 2019, it was widely viewed as a teardown. What we saw was a historically significant property worth preserving. And over the past 7 years, we've completed full renovations of the existing dwelling structures and have been careful to maintain and highlight the historical character of the site. The property was recognized by the Plastow Historical Society in 2020, and we've been fortunate to have strong support from the community throughout the process. The reason I'm here tonight is the existing barn structure. The southwest portion of the frame is now failing structurally, and the building is no longer insurable in its current condition. So we're planning to remove the barn in the near term for safety reasons. Previously, we explored converting the barn into a small bed and breakfast. After further diligence, we've concluded that that model is no longer practical to execute under current market conditions. The development and operating costs are really high, and the current models of digital home sharing platforms has degraded the valuation of the traditional bed and breakfast model. What this creates is a rare opportunity for us to thoughtfully reimagine this portion of the property, likely a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reimagine it while maintaining consistency with the character of the site and the surrounding neighborhood. At a high level, our goal is to create a structure that reads as historically appropriate barn, consistent with the original intent of William Hills himself, while allowing for the use that ensures the long-term viability of the site. We provided a survey of existing conditions and also provided exterior elevations of the proposed structure. The only changes we see moving forward is that the doors and the windows be scaled down a bit to make it look less like an inn and more like a barn. We want to make sure that whatever replaces the barn feels like it belongs here, not just for today, but for the next 100+ years. So I'm here tonight at a conceptual level before advancing any design to get the board's input on what you would view as the most appropriate and supportable use for the structure.
Karen?
Well, I like the idea of bringing it back to what it should be. Been in town for over 60 years. So I'm very glad to see what you already did. And I think that's awesome. That's my opinion.
So you're looking to just basically repurpose the barn in question? Just sort of refurbish it and then, no?
Tear the
Tearing it down totally?
The barn will be on the ground within 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, so.
Because you said it's
so
uninsurable, right?
It's uninsurable.
So we're ripping down the barn completely?
Yeah, I'll lose insurance on the entire property as soon as Lloyd's of London comes back and has another look at it. And they've been the only insurer of last resort for the last 7 years.
Okay.
They don't even come by, they just send a drone over.
Well,
Or buy someone's drone photos.
We had when we were doing the phase 2 renovations in early 2024, we had some stain rags that we knew that they were a risk, so we had them far away from the house, but they were under a cedar table that was way out in the yard.
Oh.
And they self-combusted overnight, like 4 a.m. So the fire department showed up within minutes.
I would hope so.
Across the street. Across the street.
That helped.
It was Easter morning.
Oh, no.
It was probably 5:30, 4:45 in the morning. I don't know, whenever the sun came up, just about that time. Lloyd's of London had representatives on property within 2 weeks.
Yep. Wow.
Did it actually affect the building, or was it just
No, it was a yard.
on the property?
Yeah, it melted a table, but that was it. Yeah.
So what is it that you want to do? You want to do multifamily housing?
Well, I've spent the better part of 2 years trying to determine what the best use is.
Right.
And I'm still not like fully bought in on any one purpose. What I'd really like to do is, if you want to have a little fun with this, it only comes around every 180 years. Like, we can, maybe you guys have an idea I haven't come up with yet, right? Something, but it has to make development sense. Otherwise it won't happen. That's what we're running into with the barn, right? It needs to ideally be done in a way where, maybe the use becomes flexible every 30 to 40 years, right? Because I think the societal needs change every 30 to 40 years. So ideally, I think that we originally proposed 6 bedrooms, and it looked like the engineering was going to support 6 bedrooms. So I think that it would be good to keep 6 bedrooms as the target. Now, how we break them up is, I think, the real question. We've considered, I tell you, the inquiries that we get that we can't really field at this point, but the ones that consistently come across the desk to us is people ask if they can host gatherings and venues, right? If we do the barn as a bed and breakfast, which probably isn't going to happen, then there'll be additional pressure for us to then open it up as a venue. And I don't think we have the parking and the utility loads to support that kind of a use. So, and I don't think the neighborhood wants to have weddings behind that barn either, right? So that's another reason why, like, the bed and breakfast really is sort of a stretch, even though it's in the zoning language, so it's an obvious use. So that one I'm real hesitant, because I don't think that, we get the bed and breakfast approved and then we build this, I come back in 2 years and now I want to have a venue, right? And I don't know that we want to go that way with it. I've considered the other requests that we get quite often is for downsizers. Like, wasn't 2 months ago, a a 65 plus lady came and asked if she could sell her house and move in, right? So there's, and there's clearly a shortage of senior housing in town, places for people to move into.
True.
But if we're going to do senior housing, then, we may want to, maybe, have more units with less bedrooms, because we give something for people to downsize into.
Shay, was there some question with respect to, that type of housing? And is there enough acreage for it, or is there?
There's not. There's 3.5. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she recommended that there's 3.5 was the zoning language for the Universal Senior Overlay District.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the third request that we field on a regular basis is insurance, disaster, flood and fire displacements. We get a number of those kind of inquiries from time to time.
What do you
as
mean
well.
by that? Is there some like
They need a place to
hosting
go.
Yeah, say your house caught on fire. you need a
emergency
place to go.
housing?
It's a place to go. But they have
No,
no
out
place
of
to
all
go.
these ideas, is there a way that you're leaning one way more than the other that you're thinking? Which idea you like the best?
I think for the long-term success of the property, the easiest way to make it pretty, to make it historically attuned, and to make it predictable, and to make it as low an impact as possible, would be to have a ground level, a mid-level, and a top level, and have 3 units with two bedrooms each. That way you have the opportunity to stack the utilities to keep the development costs within reason.
And you're looking at rentals or bed and breakfast for each one of them, or one of them a bed and breakfast? Or?
I really haven't defined the use. I don't know how much appetite Liz and I have to continue to be operators of
I understand that.
a bed and breakfast model, which could, and then the other thing is that, with that model, it's so operator heavy, is that it makes you an anomaly to a banker. They're like, what do we do with this? How are we going to fund this? We can't really, we don't have,
Right.
we don't have models to go with on this. So my tendency is to think that our best guests are grandparents.
Right.
So
Yep.
we'd probably lean towards, renting it to people that were downsizing from houses that they sold.
I like that idea. Right. I could be one.
The issue is for us is then, we're talking about having a 1,400 square foot unit, a 1,275 square foot unit, and another 1,150 square foot unit. Those are still a little bit big for downsizers. Not to say that it doesn't work, but so smaller, more low profile or low impact.
So you would just
bedroom units.
Yeah, when you go to homes.
you would just be marketing it then in terms of, for downsizers. That would be your whole approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
And there's nothing special, at least from a
it's gonna
zoning
be special.
perspective.
It's going to be beautiful.
I know. I mean, nothing in the sense that it distinguishes being.
Yeah, because I think most people, if they're downsizing, 2 bedrooms is probably plenty when I'm thinking about it, right? So you have
Plenty.
one room for the grandparents come over or someone visits, so you have the second room.
The 2 rooms are perfect.
I think that, I think that would work. And, and then it could be an executive rental, right? For corporate people that need it for more than 6 months at a time, or if it's not age restricted, then you still have the option to provide space for people who are displaced due to insurance disasters.
Yes. Yeah, I like that one too.
So that would be the aim.
Good.
Those 2 sort of
Yeah.
make sense inquiries that we get would be how we'd position it.
Well, any type of housing is it's the theme in New Hampshire right now.
Well, it's a
But the
beautiful
structure
spot
would be-
too.
the structure would be multifamily though, right? I'm just thinking use, which is not a problem. It's permitted use.
Yeah,
But that's kind of what you're looking at.
right, I agree.
I mean, I saw in the application and the staff, you were using the term like adaptive reuse, or I saw that.
Yeah, we're gonna adaptively reuse the barn.
No, it's a defined term in our zoning ordinance. And you basically have to be a commercial structure to take advantage of what's permitted under the adaptive reuse.
Well,
There's no restriction on multifamily, just so you know. But the term means something different in the zoning ordinance.
so you'll have to forgive me. Liz and I are mom and pop. We're a grassroots organization. So
Well, what I'm saying is because because the village center is a mixed use district, it gives you some flexibility so that that there could be, if you decided to have some commercial use, there are certain commercial uses that would be permitted on that lot. That lot right now is residential, but the district does provide.
yeah, we've considered the possibility of maybe having some office or flexible use
Commercial
space.
on the bottom.
Commercial on the bottom.
And that's kind of the way adaptive, there's limited things that you
Right.
can have in the
Encouraged.
first floor.
Right.
The thing with targeting it or developing it specifically to attract the senior downsized mover is the site plan lends itself to at least the ground level and the main level is being very easy to make handicap accessible.
Yep.
So it's almost like if I was going to put an office, I might want to put it on the highest floor, which is the hardest to get to, right?
Yeah.
And they can walk up the steps.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be able to afford an elevator.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna go commercial, it's gotta be AD accessible.
Yeah, right,
So that's an instant elevator.
right. And parking, there would be sufficient.
Yeah, the original site plan that we did for the bed and breakfast was a very heavy parking design. Yeah,
Yep.
I felt like it was crowded. And I think whatever use, if we do three dwelling units, it's going to just naturally lend itself to toning down
Right.
the parking or the parking surfaces anyway.
The parking burden has been reduced, State of New Hampshire has.
Not for the bed and breakfast though, I would imagine. It's probably still the same.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know for residential it has.
Yeah, but 16 seemed like overkill to me. We were really jamming them in there. And, if we could get to, let's say, 6 for the barn and 2 for each of the dwelling units, we've gone from 16 to 10. It's going to flow a lot nicer that way too.
I agree.
I mean, Shay, I think it's dropped from used to be 2, it went to 1.5.
1.5.
Is it
It's
down to
one.
1?
It's one.
One.
I think so.
One.
In the site plan regulations for the town, it's 2 spaces per dwelling unit.
But the RSA's killed that. They dropped it to 1.5 like a year and a half ago. And I believe last year they might even drop
think it's
that to
one.
1.
So as far as the typical concerns you'd raise is utilities. We've got a 1-inch municipal water feed coming into the structure already. So whatever wells are out back, those will be abandoned or decommissioned. We'll need to add an additional septic tank and leach field. Looks like we got plenty of space for that. There's 1 million BTUs of natural gas already on site. So we're pretty well set. We've already got up to 400 amps coming in with modernized electric at this point. So we're pretty well squared away. We did all that with the idea that we were going to eventually do something with the barn. And now, the updates to law have given us some tailwinds and valuations of property locally have given us a little bit more fortitude to be able to get this thing over the end zone line.
But with the downsizing is good when you think about it, right? You could have parents live state away and their kids live in this community. They want to be closer to grandkids.
No, I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's a great use.
Yeah, it is.
gosh.
It is, and I know.
But the
that-
bed and breakfast was a great use too. So
We love the bed and breakfast idea.
Right.
You know, if it was, I think that if it was 1996, it would be easy. The zoning would, like, one of the issues with the zoning language is the 10-day max, which prevents us from being able to, we could probably maybe make it happen. But when the bank underwriters look at the zoning and look at the use, it's a guarantee that you're at 50% occupancy, right? So now they have to underwrite it at 50% occupancy with extended periods of losses. And they're hesitant to do it. They probably should be hesitant to do it. But, 3 dwelling units, designed for senior downsize movers, that's a pretty easy one for them.
It is, and,
like I said,
property back to life too,
Yep.
what it was before.
housing's a big thing in New Hampshire. So,
Yeah.
Other half.
That barn, just FYI, it's been a tear down for like 60 years.
sell the wood. Distressed barn wood is sort of a niche.
Oh, yeah, no, a lot of people like that.
Remember when you bought
They
it, I
do.
thought it was a tear down.
It was, but when you look what that property looks like now, it was great to see the transformation.
yeah,
I know the property.
It was a tear down.
Yeah, it definitely was.
What you've done with that property is phenomenal.
It's been
It
awesome.
really is.
It's been a lot of work, that's for sure.
It is.
I don't know, I didn't have much gray hair 7 years ago. Dealing in a lot of gray hair. And we've got, I think, 26 footings and counting into the basements. That's the stuff you don't see,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Is the 26 footings that had to get dug in the little basements.
Oh.
Kidding.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember just watching the whole transformation when you started. It's like, what's going to happen here? And
I know.
We didn't think it was going to come out that well, I'll be honest. We thought it was a cool house. We thought it had a lot of potential. We knew that we were in over our heads. And we didn't expect it to look that good.
Yeah, no, it's
It
great.
does. It's a beautiful house.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the house when they still were selling the oil trucks. Jenny.
That was a long time ago with the Jennings.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that if William Hills saw the plans for the barn, he would approve too.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Yep.
Like, so, I mean, what,
You might be able to salvage some of the wood out of that barn too.
you like it?
Oh, I've got a building I'm taking down right now. It was built in 1750.
Yeah.
And I've got a company coming in. They're going to take the whole thing.
Oh, give me the number to the company.
I will.
Because, it's going to, I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm real nervous about what it's going to look like in a month when there's no barn there.
It's going to look empty. Big hole.
But I think it would, that barn's a significant piece of the fabric of the community, and it deserves to get rebuilt appropriately.
All right. Excellent.
I think it's an excellent idea.
So I guess what I'm looking for is a pathway. We've got some engineering that we've done. We've got surveys that we've done. So I mean, what would we need to produce in addition to what we've already produced, so that we could give you guys something that you could approve, so that we could move on with the project?
need a site plan. Yep. And just explain exactly really what you explained. This is what I want to do. I'm going to build, 3 units. I'm going to put it here. This is, you're going to have to get DES, New Hampshire DES approval for your septic and
And the water goes on.
well, if your existing well can't support,
Yeah, we're in town water now.
Yeah, because of town water. I was just going to
That's
say.
That solves that issue.
Sorry, I'm so used to not being on town water. I think.
Yeah.
We were
Yep.
we were probably one of the first. Our water had significant uranium.
Yeah.
Like
Sure,
we wouldn't
arsenic.
believe.
So, again, it would be,
Uranium.
you'd come in with a site plan,
You could sell that.
presumably for multifamily as the use, and then go through that process, which is, for something like this, would be fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
So presumably you already have an engineer or,
Yeah, I don't think he's got much to do. Is take the old engineering and remove some parking spots and change some words that say,
right, because I remember you had an existing conditions plan, I think, when you came in on the conceptual for the bed and breakfast, right? I think you had
oh, we had a site plan.
a full site plan?
It was full site
Okay,
plan. Yeah.
so modify that.
And that's it?
Is there anything you can think of, Shay, that he might need?
You'll be interacting with Shay quite a bit.
So that's why I'm asking Shay, so.
Site plan review, that's it. And it'll just be a matter of meeting all the requirements, submitting all the,
Yeah, and then in regards to proving the utilities, we got to dig a hole and get a permit with the septic design, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and typically we look at those, so we don't turn this into an algorithm, you can work at it in concurrently, if you will, so that you get, to the extent you come in, the site plan works, we approve it. A lot of the things are conditioned upon, getting your septic done, getting all that done. And so you're allowed to still progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, not necessarily in front of us, but the building inspector would be a gentleman you'd want to talk to, because you may require some certain tests out on that building that's coming down for lead paint or asbestos, because they need to prove it doesn't have either. Or if it does, it has to be abated before you can take it down. You just can't take it down.
Yeah, you need to get a demolition permit.
Demolition permit.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's
also,
true.
if I spoke with him just yesterday, on a new building, it's just nothing to do with us really, but they won't require an engineered stamp plan unless it's constructed of structural large beams and things. Keep that in mind when you talk to an architect to draw your building. He doesn't require a stamp plan, but if it's got structural beams that are large, he will, and it makes a big difference in your costs. Again, not to do with us.
We're actually, believe it or not, we're tempted at this point to use a modular construction company. Stack the boxes in.
Can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, because one of the other big issues for us has been looking at all right, if we're going to build the barn, it's going to take 18 months, right? And that's a lot of given blood.
Yeah,
And,
that is.
with the modular, because, we're going to be faced, if we do 3 units, we've got all the fireproofing issues and everything else is going to come up. And rather than me playing developer, if we can have a modular company that already has that kind of built in, and then we can compress the time frame, which we can get it up there also, right? By the time the foundation's cured, we might be able to
The modulars are fairly quick in
Yeah.
comparison to stick building.
Yeah, for something like this, it could probably save us 6 or 7 months of construction time, which would be
Excellent.
massive in terms of pulling it off successfully. So you guys like the plan? Is there anything that you would add? I don't mind doing Shark Tank, because like I said, this only comes around every once in a while.
I'm not sure if you're going to try to stack the units, but if you want elderly, you kind of have to be on the ground.
Sure.
You really do. I don't know what your setbacks are. I have no idea.
Well,
They're also got displacement too from, if they do displacement, somebody had a fire or something.
Yep.
Could be somebody younger.
Yep.
I mean, you could even envision, you might even see who knows, a young couple just is going to be in for a little bit of
And there are
time.
seniors that, could probably make the stairs. I don't know who they are, but
well, that's what the best view. It's going to be a
I
really
told my
nice
mother
view.
she
for
couldn't go up the stairs, she'd hit me.
Just ideally, one level would be best, but that's just my opinion.
no,
Not a requirement.
there are other ones.
Even if we get
They
two
start-
of the units handicap accessible.
They start off in the third, and as they get older, every 5 years, they come down one level.
There you go.
I'm already on the bottom floor.
No, I think it's a great use of the property.
I did too. I think that sounds very good.
All right.
I know it will be beautiful.
It's already beautiful. Even with that ugly
It
barn.
is. It's
It's a beautiful ugly barn.
beautiful. Such a change.
Yeah, and then I think we take the barn down. We're going to freshen up the paint and then get that. Paint's 6 years old now. Get that.
That's unbelievable.
Get that
6 years
freshened
already.
up, and it's going to look. It's going to look
Yeah.
high definition HD. That'd be great.
So once you start moving forward, you're obviously going to be, if you're in the market for updating the site plan. You'll be working with,
Okay.
the planning department.
Yeah.
You know.
She's been great so far.
Yeah.
So I'll just bring it in and she'll tell me I have enough, and then I'll be looking to turn this around as quickly as possible. So
Yep.
as far as time frame,
Time frame, the next application deadline is if you can get it in by the end of the month, I believe the 29th. Let me just double check.
and then
If you can get an application in, by 3:30 on April 29th, then you can get on the schedule for May 20th. Which
okay,
is
do we need to have the new site plan completed by the 29th to submit?
Yes.
Okay.
And all the application materials submitted.
All right, but you can also, you can do a conditional approval with the site plan based on the fact that I'm going to bring in the septic design and approval and the whatnot on the back end of that.
Yeah. Can't we?
Well, no, it is, yes, I mean, I don't mean no, but yeah, because oftentimes, you're likely to have, who's ever doing your site plan is likely also to be doing your septic drawings too.
Correct.
So typically you'll see some renderings on the site plan of what the septic's gonna look like, all right? And then there's gonna be, is we're looking at the site plan, it will be conditioned upon receiving, NHDES approval of the septic plan, because it comes from the state. The one thing I will tell you is it's probably wise to get, if you know the general area of where your septic and leach field is going to go, test pits are going to be required, and that runs through the
Right.
town.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So the building inspector does the
Right.
test pits.
Just the drawing of the leach field and the tank would be enough to come back with. And then when we dig the holes, it's going to be a matter of how quickly we can get the hole dug.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I have a site plan approval on the farm. I haven't dug my hole yet.
Yeah,
So
sure. Well, this has been very useful for me. You always, like as someone not on that side of the bench, right? You sit around and stew about how bad it could go before you come in, right?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate the fact that you guys think it's a good use of the property. That's the key, is to, because if we don't get great use out of it, there's a chance it could fall back into disrepair. It wouldn't take much, because it's a high need property. Wouldn't take but 15 years for it to fall back into disrepair, right?
Food for thought, again, nothing here, is talk to the fire department chief, when you go to put a 4-unit in there and see what he might want. I don't know what restrictions or what he might want, he might not want anything.
Were we doing 3 or 4 units?
Well, you said you're gonna put 3, you already have the main house plus 3 more,
It's a duplex plus 3 more. It'd be 5.
so it's 5.
Yeah. Chief said that, last time he said that he wanted everything on the property to be up to code or.
Well,
Yes,
yeah,
right.
yeah, of course.
Kind of a fire department thing.
But there are some, I
Yeah.
mean, New Hampshire doesn't require everything to be sprinkled,
Right.
Particularly residential use. So
Right.
there are some
Sure.
thresholds there.
Yeah, the big key is whether or not we need sprinklers and how many egresses we need. And then like the egresses will impact the elevations a little bit as well. The windows might change around a little bit, but I don't see any other changes.
Whoever
to the
designs your building should already have
Right.
know all that.
Right.
You shouldn't have any problems there.
I would hope so.
I hope so.
Or get a new designer.
Yeah.
No, they've done great.
All right, cool. Was there anything else I should be aware of?
Oh, I think that's it.
I think once you go through the planning process, you're going to be speaking to, building inspectors and such, and, there'll be a normal rhythm that, that you'll,
You won't have any trouble.
be working with.
I don't think there's no asbestos in the barn, and that was boiled linseed oil for 150 years that went on it. So we might not have, probably a little bit of lead somewhere. We could find it if we look far enough.
They're more lenient on the lead than the asbestos. I'll tell you
Yes.
that.
Yeah, they are, more than lead than the
There's not even
asbestos.
any vermiculite in the barn.
That's good.
Yeah, I can't I
That's
can't think of any asbestos that I've ever seen present on property.
Works at Bonnie may not require the certificate, but I can't speak for him.
There were oil dealers that owned it for a long time. Those guys were
Oh my
anti-asbestos.
gosh,
They
they
want
were there for years.
to minimize insulation and maximize oil, right? So, no, there's no asbestos over there. Unless it's buried in the yard, which sometimes they do that.
Can't say it, ain't there.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Awesome. Well,
That's true.
I guess we'll call this a wrap then. I'm feeling enthused about calling the engineer and getting the site plan going.
Excellent.
Oh, I think it's excellent.
I appreciate your all's time tonight.
Yeah, and you've become
And,
good friends with Shay
Yeah.
in the process.
Shay and Shay will be putting up with me a little bit. Move forward.
She's good.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
I think that's gonna be nice.
All right. Go out of order here for a little bit, just because of appointment for an RPC commissioner. We reached out to, or recommendation for
Tim wanted to do it.
an RPC commissioner.
Good. Oh,
So we reached out to Tim Moore. He's on board for another 3 years. I'm
Excellent.
sure RPC will appreciate that.
Yep.
So, so I move to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that Tim Moore be reappointed as a Rockingham Planning Commissioner to represent the town of Plastow.
A second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So it's 5-0-0. No, they'll be very appreciative, because he does maintain the legislative update.
Yep, he does.
He maintains that for RPC, and that's what we're
He's
what
got
we're
more
seeing.
historical knowledge than anyone.
Exactly. So, old business?
None.
None. Okay. Any new business?
None.
I think
I wanted
emails?
to ask her if we could have the report. I do want one of the
Zoning ordinance?
new zoning. Yes, I literally go through the book and I put in all the new ones every year.
so. You're looking to have it printed out.
I would like a printed report.
Would you like 3 hole punched?
Oh yeah, that would be really great.
Holy cow, what's this,
God,
Christmas?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank
So
you.
limited time offer. Come get it
Holy
now.
cow.
Can we get a binder too?
Oh,
No,
wait.
it's going back in
Crazy
the
talk.
old book.
I have.
Going in the pages.
Yeah, I have the binder. I just need the ordinance, so
Yeah.
I don't have to go over to Staples.
What's the status on those emails?
Those have been moving forward. I will be emailing SE tonight over the names and the email addresses to get that going.
Right.
I had to confirm with the chair about just a couple things, but we're ready. We're ready to move forward on that. So it's in the works.
So what does this mean? Is it a whole new email for each one of us?
You'll have an official Plastow
Town email.
So it won't be dumped in all personal anymore?
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting all kinds of things tonight, Karen. You're getting a 3-hole punch, an email address.
So
Wow.
I saw the police respond in terms with the master plan. I didn't see, did you guys talk about anything master plan being the select board?
We talked about it. Everyone's looking at it.
We're looking at it and we're going to have a workshop, and that's going to be one of the topics at the workshop.
And the Conservation Commission is taking that up at the next meeting, the first week of May.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right. So May Concom. All right. And just one last thing. I had asked, Shay to circulate. RPC kind of went through an exercise. They're looking to update their master plan, and they went through an exercise last meeting, where they reviewed goals and things like that, and it was sort of interactive, and discussed, what the existing document was, if it needed to be changed, updated, and things like that. So I asked her just to circulate, those, just so that we can see. They went through the whole thing. All right, and then they're gonna probably incorporate, that feedback into whatever they're doing. And when I spoke to our circuit rider, I'm thinking that rather than having, trying to find a date where they could come in and sort of like do something formally, they might be amenable to, let's say we got some feedback from the police department. They can coordinate directly with a date with the police department, and maybe one or two members from the board here can sit in on whatever that session is, and then based on that information, having it summarized and then sent back to the board. That might be an easier method going forward. Kind of gives RPC a little flexibility interacting with the people responding. What
do they think is the best way to go about it? Because I'm sure this is not the first time they've done it.
Well, I think the challenge has been their availability, in terms of our schedules. Whereas I think they might be open to, if the police department responded, working with the police department to sort of flesh that out and then providing that feedback to us. But then again, we can be, present at those meetings too. So I think that kind of has sort of a natural flow to it, I think. And if RPC is amenable to that, maybe it's a model going forward, rather than trying to corral everybody on a particular date and things like that.
I didn't know if they've done it in the past and they said this is the way they prefer it. If they think it makes sense.
It's their available. They volunteered to do that.
Okay.
And I think, the
Try something new.
the date, having everyone come in and do it and work on it they might not have the bandwidth to accommodate our schedule
I
that
can
way.
understand that.
So, all right, anything else?
Just a question. I know that which conceptual drawing is there? They asked to be on May 6th. Is that going to be on the 6th or is that going to be on the 20th?
So that's a question for the board. We got a conceptual request in for 132 Plastow Road. It's an amendment to a site plan that was approved in 2024, I believe. But they need to come forward to do their conceptual first. And so they were requesting to come forward on the workshop meeting date instead of on the normal hearing dates.
What was the address?
Well, we might be doing that with
The other one.
with
Couillard.
Couillard anyway.
I
So
wouldn't-
Stack them.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
one's going to take some time.
to me, if things compress with respect to Mr. Couillard's project, I would rather give him the deference, if you will.
okay.
Yeah, he's been pushed around a little bit. No one's fault. It's just the way things work.
No, and he's
Oh,
entitled
really?
to, so personally, I would think, we can do one, or I'd rather do one, because we do have other things to talk
Right.
about in the workshop meeting, so.
All right. So the question being, do we do it or just push them off to the 520?
Yeah,
Right.
20.
So for the conceptual.
I would vote, push them off.
Okay. Consensus wise, 520 for the
Yeah,
conceptual?
That's fine by me.
Okay. All right. Nothing else? Then we'll close the meeting at 8:25.
Yep, is that?